Hello, and welcome to a tutorial on how to use Solidworks for 3D modeling. First, open Solidworks by clicking on the Windows icon at the bottom left of your screen. Click on All Programs and scroll down to find this Solidworks folder. Inside the Solidworks folder, you want to choose Solidworks 2014 64-bit edition. If this is the first time you have opened Solidworks, it may take a long time to load. Click Accept if it asks. Next, click on Do Not Show Me Any Dynamic Help and click OK. Next, I'm going to use the toolbar at the top of the window to access the Help menu and choose the tutorial. I will be guiding you through this tutorial throughout this video. You do not have to open it, but it may help you as you work along with me. The tutorial begins with an overview of the part that you will be creating and how you will create it. At the bottom of the screen, it says Next Topic. Click on that to see the first set of instructions. The first thing it wants us to do is to create a new part file. I click on the New File icon, and then I double-click on Part to create a new part file. I click on the Save icon in the toolbar menu. To make it easier to find my file later on, I choose to save it on my desktop. I'm going to give the file a good name, including my last name and the fact that this is a 3D part and this is part of the tutorial. So keys, 3D tutor. Then I go on to the next step. The next page of the tutorial describes very broadly what the next steps will cover. In this case, creating the base of our new part. So I'll go on to the next page. In the next step, I learn that I will be dimensioning my objects using millimeters. So I go to the standard toolbar, I click on Options, and on the Document Properties tab, I choose Units. Then I choose mmgs, millimeter gram second, to be the units for this document. If you're more comfortable working in inches when you have the opportunity to design something for yourself, feel free to use inches. Click OK when you're done. So the tutorial tells me to click on Extruded Boss Base in the Features toolbar. That's up here at the top left. The front, top, and right planes appear, and the pointer changes to the green Plane Selection tool. These planes are important in 3D modeling. In math class, you've worked with an X and Y axis on a flat piece of paper. The Z axis provides depth to an object. So the X and Y axes, where they intersect, create the front plane. Where the X and Z axes intersect, you have the top plane, and where the Y and Z axes intersect, you have the side plane. At the center of it all, you have the origin. I usually suggest that students use the origin as their starting point for most drawings. For this one, we will start on the front plane. When we click on the front plane, a sketch opens on it. We will click on Corner Rectangle in the Sketch toolbar. Move the pointer to the sketch origin, which is the red icon in the middle of the screen. Click to begin the rectangle, and then move your mouse up and to the right, and click again to end creating the rectangle. Right-click and choose Select from the menu to release the rectangle making tool. Right now, the rectangle is constrained at the origin. It will not move away from there, but the other sides are mobile because they are not fully constrained. They don't have fully defined places in our coordinate system. As the tutorial says, I'm going to click on the Smart Dimension option in the toolbar and then click on an edge that I want to dimension. Click on the edge and then click away, and then I enter the dimension, 120. I click on the other edge and I enter 120, and then I click on the green check mark to exit that tool. Then I click Exit Sketch so that I can extrude my part. The Boss Extrude menu opens automatically. Choose Blind End and change the distance to 30 millimeters. Click the check mark. The sketch was absorbed into the extrusion feature. Click on the plus next to the Boss Extrude 1 in the Feature Manager design tree to expand the feature. Sketch 1, which you used to extrude the feature, is listed there. We will learn about modifying existing sketches later on. So we'll move on to the next step. In these next steps, we are extruding a boss centered on the model and dimensioned. First, we will click on the face of the model that we have currently created. This creates a sketch plane for us. Then we click Extruded Boss Face in the Features toolbar. Click Circle in the Sketch toolbar and click near the center of the face and move the pointer to sketch a circle. Click on Smart Dimension in the Dimensions toolbar and select the circle. Move the pointer outside the model to see the current dimension and click to place. In the Modify dialog box, set the value to 70 and click the green check mark. In the View toolbar, click on the box icon arrow and choose Normal to, or it looks like a box with an arrow sticking out of it. This allows you to see the work straight on. Then click on Smart Dimension again, click on the circle, and click on the top edge of your shape and give it a dimension of 60. We're placing it in the center. Click on the circle again and click on the right edge to give it another dimension of 60. That centers the circle on our square. Click on the green check mark, click Exit Sketch, and the Boss Extrude menu will appear. You can use the View menu again to change it to a trimetric view or other view that will be easiest to understand for you. In the Property Manager menu, under Direction 1, select Blind and End Condition and set the depth to 25. Click on the check mark. The Boss Extrude appears in the Feature Manager design tree. Next, you will cut a hole through the part by sketching a hole and extruding it. In the Features toolbar, we're going to click on Extruded Cut, and then we'll select the front face of the circular boss. I'm changing the view to be straight on again, and I'm selecting Circle from the Sketch toolbar. To help find the center of the boss, I move my pointer to the edge of the circle, and then the center mark appears. I place the center of the new circle in that spot, and then I move my mouse out. I click on Smart Dimension and give it a dimension of 50. I click Exit Sketch and the Cut Extrude menu appears. Instead of using the View menu, to shift the perspective of the part, I'm pushing down on the scroll wheel of my mouse and dragging so that I can see underneath. And it is not going to be cutting deep enough. I want it to go all the way through the part. So I'm going to, instead of having a blind end, I'm going to change this to through all. So it will cut through the whole part. Again, I push on the scroll wheel and drag to see that it's going to go all the way through, and then click on the check mark. In the next part of the tutorial, we will add fillets, or rounded edges, to the part. I click on the Fillet tool in the Features toolbar, and then I select the front of the base. Under Fillet Parameters, I set the radius to 5. Under Items to Fillet, I select Full Preview so I can see what's going to be filleted. And then I also select the edges of the part. Notice that I can actually see the edges through just by resting my mouse on them and seeing the orange edges. When I'm finished, I click the green check mark. And all the edges we selected have been filleted. Now we're going to add another fillet. So we'll click on the Fillet tool again, and we will select the top face of the cylinder. If you have a hard time selecting the top face of the cylinder, click on the inside edge, right-click, and choose Select Other. That will give you an option of which face to choose. We want the top face. Under Fillet Parameters, we will change this to 1.5 millimeters and click the green check mark. Notice that you can also find the green check mark in the top right. Our next step is to hollow out the part by using a shell command. So I click on Shell in the Features toolbar. I rotate the part using the scroll wheel on my mouse by pushing and turning, and then I click on the back surface of the part. Under Parameters, I will set the thickness to 2 and click the green check mark. The shell operation removes the selected face and leaves a thin-walled part. The next part of the tutorial shows you how to make a section view of the shell, but for our purposes it really isn't necessary to learn this. So we're going to move on to editing features. In the Feature Manager design tree, double-click on Boss Extrude 1. The feature dimensions appear in the graphics area. Double-click on the 30 and enter 50 instead, and hit the Enter key to change the dimensions of the depth of the object. At this time, it's probably a good idea to save your part, so click on the Save icon in the main toolbar. Next, we'll edit the fillets. I right-click on Fillet 1 and choose Edit Feature from the little menu that pops up. Under Items to Fillet, I'm going to scroll down and right-click on Face 1 and choose Delete. The fillets on the face are removed. Now I can change the size of the fillets on the sides without affecting the fillet on the top. So I'll change the fillet parameters to 10. To recreate the fillets that I removed from the face, I need to add a fillet feature before the Shell 1 feature. In the Feature Manager design tree, place the pointer over the rollback bar below the Shell 1 feature and drag it above Shell 1. As you can see, the shell is now gone. It is now a solid part again. So we can add the fillets to the front face again. Click Fillet in the Features toolbar, select the front face of the base. Under Items to Fillet, change the radius to 5. Click the check mark, and now we want to return the shell to its rightful place. So we drag the line down below Shell 1, rotate the part, and you can see that the shell has the features of the fillets on the front face of the object. Thank you for watching this tutorial. The next step for you and your partner will be to do the next tutorial, assemblies.